Assassin's Creed. What can you say about this game series at this point? It's become legendary in a lot of ways. Also a bit of a meme. This could be for many reasons, one of which is of course related to just how long it's been going on. It's on its 12th game with Valhalla coming out on November 17th. That's a lot of games. So I decided I'm going to replay them all, in order, and review and talk about each and every one. I'm going to discuss the strengths and weaknesses, not just about the individual games, but the series as a whole. I'll talk about the impact it's had on the industry, and all sorts of other cool stuff as well, so please like and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. So I just finished replaying the original Assassin's Creed game. It came out in 2007 and was a huge success, hence why it spawned 11 AAA sequels, even more than that if you count the indie titles. So what made this game special? What made it a success? What made people want to stick with it even after 13 years? Well, let's take a look. Even though I know it's hip to hate on this game, in fact, it's become rather hip to hate on the series in general, I think it's worth starting off talking about what made this game great. For starters, it has, in my opinion, a really good story, interesting characters, and a vivid, well-designed world. I'll take these one at a time. I personally loved how this game looks. The world is beautiful and vivid. The way they recreate real cities like Jerusalem and Acre is just amazing. It's for my money the best looking Assassin's Creed game, and I really mean that. Maybe not from a technical point of view, but this game personally has my favorite aesthetic, and I wish they made subsequent games look similar. I enjoy the story of Assassin's Creed. It combines real history with fiction flawlessly. It takes the real history of the Crusades, and historical figures such as King Richard and Saladin, and combines that with its own creative and interesting storyline involving two fictional groups called the Assassins and the Templars, who have opposing ideas about how to shape the world. Both want world peace. The Templars would use force to accomplish this goal, whereas Assassins wish people to choose it freely. One thing I love about this story is that as we follow the main character Altair, whom I find to be a grade A badass personally, we see his character learn about the other side. We think at the beginning that these are the bad guys, and they are, but as the story goes on, the lines between good and evil blur, and things become more gray. We see the perspective of the antagonists and see where they're coming from. And we also see that the quote-unquote good side are certainly not without their flaws either. This is not something I see done in very many game franchises, so it was very nice to see. The themes in this game are also very compelling. It makes you think about things like religion, objective morality, spirituality, brotherhood, unity, the truth or lack thereof of the concept of God and the supernatural, the concept of world peace, and what would justify the means to achieve that goal. I enjoyed all the characters in this game. As I mentioned earlier, Altair is a great main character. He's dynamic, flawed, compelling, and we see a genuine growth throughout the story. The villains, the master, the side characters are all interesting as well. These characters have distinct personalities and interesting perspectives. The part of the story that takes place in present time is fairly interesting as well, except I think I speak for the vast majority of fans of the series when I say that it's nowhere near as good as the stuff that takes place in the past. What's great about the first few games of this franchise was it did a good job acknowledging this fact by making about 90%, maybe more, in the past, and making the present stuff a very small part. The cool part of the present stuff, though, it adds at least one interesting element of story, and that is that the war that was started between the Brotherhood and the Templars never ended and is continuing in present day. It's a great and interesting reveal about halfway through the game. But now we'll talk about a few things that make the game feel not only dated, but also flat out bad in its own right, irrespective of when it was made. For one, it is mind-numbingly repetitive. I don't think I'm exaggerating, or at least not by very much, when I say that this game is essentially just the same exact missions 9 times, then it's over. And it's not similar to the vast majority of other games which also have gameplay loops. I mean, in this game, you go to a place, do the same 3 to 6 activities, and when I say the same, I mean the exact fucking same. Assassinate your target, report to the master, rinse, and repeat. If you haven't played it, give it a try and see for yourself. If you have played it, you know exactly what I mean. So yeah, basically you have to assassinate 9 targets in this game in an attempt to get your honor back and bring glory and victory to your creed. These 9 assassinations take place in the exact same 3 cities, and before each one you report to the bureau, your superior tells you where to search, then you do 3 of the 6 available investigations. It doesn't help in any way at all that most of these investigations are boring as fuck. Eavesdropping, pickpocket, intimidate, all useless in my opinion. The only fun ones were the informer investigations. These were fairly varied, whether you were collecting flags or stealth killing Templars, and actually offered some challenge unlike the other ones. You need a minimum of 3, but you can do all 6 available if you'd like. The problem is the game doesn't give any incentive to do any of the extra stuff. As I already mentioned, most of these missions aren't fun or challenging, but they also don't give you anything. You don't get currency to buy any cool shit, you don't level up, it doesn't give you any important story information, etc. And this is a very, very big problem. I seriously doubt that too many people that have played this game did a thorough playthrough. They probably did what I did, which was do as little as possible to get through the story as fast as possible, because most of the content simply isn't fun. Like, collecting all the flags? Who the fuck wants to do that? There are no side missions at all, besides trivial things like rescuing citizens from guards, but that gets very old very fast. So yeah, the content is not only super minimal, but not very much of it is super fun either. One thing that is worth giving the game credit for is its innovative and hugely influential parkour system. The way you climb buildings, tall towers, run across rooftops, it's become legendary and highly imitated at this point. However, it's rather flawed in this game and in basically most of the subsequent games if we're being honest, except it got much better of course. I mean, one thing that was driving me insane was how fucking slow you climb up the fucking building. It made getting away from the guards such a pain. It doesn't help that you often fall off the edge for no reason, often don't grab what you really wanted to grab, etc. But it's still overall pretty fun, and its influence is undeniable. The combat has also become pretty influential in my opinion. The whole attack-counterattack thing, you know, it's playable in this game, but like many other aspects of this game, it feels like a blueprint for something much better. But like I said, it's perfectly serviceable, and I actually did really enjoy the throwing knives. One way to cheese the game in certain situations, and one thing that makes me really regret not recording my gameplay, was to lead whatever entourage of enemies to a roof and then just throw them all off. I'm not kidding. 9 times out of 10 they won't even fight back. Just grab them and throw them off. It's hilariously easy. Like, one time I had a group of over 10 guys on my ass. I led them to a roof, and in legit 20 seconds, I had them all dead by doing this. Certain flaws in this game come simply from what was obviously a low budget. This includes things like hilariously repetitive character models and voice actors. Like, you beat up the same 2 guys on the interrogation missions over and over. It's hysterical. On to a couple very small things that still did piss me off. There are these mental patients roaming the street that shove you for no reason and can completely fuck you over. This shit pissed me off beyond belief. I had to use all the self-control not to kill those motherfuckers. Also, there are these annoying beggar women who keep walking in front of you, blocking where you're going because they want money. And what's worse is that you can't even fucking pay them. It's so aggravating. At least give us the option to give them money so they'll fuck off. Or let us kill them without desynchronizing. One or the other. One thing that felt like a missed opportunity was what was called Kingdom. It was basically the world in between the 4 main cities. It's really big and fun to roam around, but unfortunately there are 0 interesting things to do in it. So I ended up just fast traveling to the Bureau after the first 3 missions. All in all, the first game in this franchise was not a great game. It just wasn't. The flaws are just too great and too frequent. What it was, however, was a great prototype for a great game. It set the stage, gave us a glimpse of the future potential, and clearly it was enough, as it's now one of the most successful game series of all time. And as I mentioned, it's now on its 12th game. I look forward to replaying part 2 and giving an introspective look at that as well. So please like and subscribe to this channel so you can follow me along with this journey. Take care.